We have been blessed over the past few weeks. We have been indeed blessed. And it is as if that all the speakers communicated to each other that I'm going to preach to this point. Come and continue from here, and this person also continues. And it is such a blessing to have men of God minister to us as the Spirit leads them. Amen. This morning I have been torn between about 3 messages to start from. I was thinking, okay, we have been reciting this creed for a while now. Maybe it's time we start teaching what the creed really is and why we recite it. And then as I was preparing, he said, no, okay, we'll talk about the 5 key basics of our Christianity. And 3 days ago, he said, no, you have to continue. So we'll continue from where the others left off, and we'll talk about God's sovereignty and your scars. God's sovereignty and your scars. What do we mean by when we say God's sovereignty? That God is all-knowing, all-powerful, and He ordains everything to happen just as it happens. So if He knows everything, then why would He give you a scar? Has He intended to give you that scar for a purpose? Or is it just blind to your scars? This morning we are going to look at the life of one young man who had a scar that God used to glorify Him. Sometimes it is very difficult for us to see the hand of God in our scars. This young man, many of us may know him, is the young boy of Mephibosheth. Hello? Amen. Now, who is this Mephibosheth? He is the son of Jonathan. Now, we all know the bond that existed between Jonathan and David. Let's quickly go to 1 Samuel 20, 14 to 17. This morning we'll read quite a fair bit and then we'll make
1 Samuel
20, 14 to 17.
First Samuel 20, 14
to 17.
to 17. But show me unfailing kindness, like the Lord's kindness, as long as I live, so that I may not be killed. And do not ever cut off your kindness from my family, not even when the Lord has cut off every one of David's enemies from the face of the earth. 16. So Jonathan made a covenant with the house of David, saying, may the Lord call David's enemies to account. And Jonathan had David reaffirm his oath out of love for him, because he loved him as he loved himself.
Amen. So this is David and Jonathan, and Saul is after the life of David. And Jonathan, because of the love and the bond between him and David, goes to David and says, I will tell you if my father wants to kill you, so don't come to the feast yet. Hide in this place. I will go to the feast and find out if my father wants to kill you. If he wants to kill you, I'll give you a sign so that you can run away. But because of what I am going to do, now let us form a bond. Let us form a covenant. May you never cut off my family because of what I'm doing for you. Because as it stands, I am the prince. I should be the next king, because kings leave inheritance for their children. But here is a pronouncement that has come that David, who is not the son of the king, is going to be the king. Jonathan had every right to hate him and fight with him. But he decided that no, he's going to side with David. Imagine growing up, you've been told, you're going to be the king one day. You're going to be king. And all of a sudden from nowhere, this boy who is not the son of the king is now prophesied that he is going to be the king. Imagine the realignment Jonathan had to have in his mind. Growing up, thinking that he's going to be king, And now all of a sudden, he cannot be king because of David. How many of us will be able to take that? You grew up thinking that you are the only child of your mother, your father. You are the loved one. And then your mother brings in a stranger, they bring in somebody on the street. And you now feel that all the attention is going to them. How would you relate? You are the pastor's favorite one. Everything he will call you. Now there's a new member, there's somebody else who is calling. How are you going to take it? Are you going to get upset that, now pastor doesn't call me again? Jonathan was supposed to be the king. David, even his own family, they had forgotten him, his own family. When they said, bring all the children, let us anoint them. They brought all of them. The prophet had to ask, is there another one? They said, oh yes, there's one. Now he's in the bush. That bushman, he's in the bush. His own father had forgotten that he had another son called David. And this one, the forgotten son, is now going to be king. And this king is now friends with the prince of the land. Now let's jump forward. Read 1 Samuel 31, 1 and 2, and we'll see how the story unfolds. The last chapter there.
Yep. 1 Samuel 31, 1 and 2. Now the Philistines fought against Israel. The Israelites fled before them, and many fell dead on Mount Gibeah. The Philistines were in hot pursuit of Saul and his sons, and they killed his sons Jonathan, Abinadab, and Malchishua.
Pause right there. So there was war between the Philistines and Israel, and they had killed Saul and Jonathan, the friend of David. Both of them are now dead. They have been killed in war. And what we know is that once a king is killed, they pursue everybody in his family to kill him so that they don't come and revenge or avenge their father. So we know, even from the text it says, Saul and his sons were killed. Meaning those who were not in battle, they were going to go after them. They have killed Saul, they have killed Jonathan. Where was David? At this time, Saul was fighting David, so David is in hiding. As a matter of fact, David was going to join this Philistine to fight because Saul had kicked him out, and the Philistines said, "Now we cannot trust David, so we will not add him to our army." So they had sidelined David, and they had gone and fought Israel, and they have killed Saul and Jonathan. Jump to 2 Samuel 4. That is where we are going to be taking our test from. 2 Samuel 4.
Verse
4. Read the verse 4. Read just the first line of verse 4, and then we'll look at it, and then we'll add the rest.
2 Samuel 4:4. Jonathan, son of Saul, had a son who was lame in both feet.
Pause. When you read just that, what comes to your mind? Jonathan had a son who was crippled or lame in both feet. Do you see how people are quick to identify you with your problem? Why didn't the writer just write Jonathan who had a son? But it says Jonathan had a son who was lame at both feet. People will always like to associate with what you used to be to make them feel comfortable. Because of who you are now challenges me, and I don't want to accept you for who you have become, I'll always refer to your past so that I feel comfortable or I feel better than you. Oh, isn't it Joe? That criminal. Oh, that armed robber. Oh, that boy who used to be this. So that I am comfortable. Because the person he is now challenges me. Now continue and let's see the food thing there.
He was 5 years old when the news about Saul and Jonathan came from Jezreel. His nurse picked him up and fled. But as she hurried to leave, he fell and became disabled.
Pause. Now this is where it doesn't make sense. He says, his nanny heard the news that Jonathan and Saul was dead. And she, knowing what is possible, that if a king is dead, they will come after his sons to kill him, he decided to take the boy and run with him. The text did not say he fell off a building. So let's imagine she carried him at the back. And as she was running, the boy fell down. How high is somebody's back to the ground for him to fall down to become lame at both feet? Think about it. He became lame because of the fall. If the boy, he is not 1 year, he's 5 years old. How high is this place to the ground for a 5-year boy to fall down and become lame? Let's imagine she put him in the armpit and she was running. If it was here, how high is here to the ground? For the boy to fall down and become lame. If she had decided to hold his hand and run with him, how high is from that height to the ground for the boy to fall down and become lame? This woman in her mind is trying to do something good. That she knows that they're going to come after the young boy. The father and the mother is dead. He is the future. The father in the great grandfather or the grandfather Saul is a king. He's been killed. Jonathan, his father, is a prince. He's also killed. Then they are definitely going to come after the boy. So let me go and take him into hiding. In her attempt to save the boy, he falls down. Even if you drop a 1-year-old baby from here, or as he's walking to them, I don't believe it will make them lame on both feet. So where is the sovereignty of God? If he is all-knowing, why would an all-knowing God allow this young boy fall down and become lame? If God knows the end from the beginning, why did God let the nurse first of all take that boy and let him fall down and become lame on both feet? Many of us have gone through challenges, you have gone through circumstances, and you want to ask God, God, why did I go through this? Why did I go through that pain? Why did I go through these challenges? Why was I abused as a child? Why? Why are we going through all this? And we are quick to question God rather than sit back and analyze that. What is the purpose for which God allowed this? So this young boy, at 5 years old, probably doesn't even understand why this nanny is running away with him. He falls down, only to find out that he is lame. Imagine how he has to grow up, how life would have been for this young boy, living in hiding, knowing that his father and his mother is dead. And to make matters worse, he can't walk. He can't walk. Let's jump to same 2 Samuel chapter 9, and then we'll see how the story now unfolds.
From verse 1?
Yes.
David asked, is there anyone still left of the house of Saul?
Paul. It is believed that between the time the boy fell and became lame and when David made this, it's been almost 15 to 18 years. So 15 years Mephibosheth lived as a lame boy. 15 years he lived carrying this scar of being lame. 15 years he did not know that his father had made a bond with David, that David should not forget him. So there was grace available to him. But for 15 years he did not know, so he was living in hiding. Many of us, we hide from God because we think what we have done. But the grace of God is open to receive us just as we are. If only we will come to him. But we are running away from the same grace that will save us. If only this boy knew that his father was friends with David, the moment he heard David was king, he would have run to him and say, hey, I'm a son of Jonathan, your best friend. But then it will make the word of God, it says, a bit contradictory, because the word says, no one can come to him unless what? The Spirit of God draws him. So it has to be in the plan of God that God himself will remind David about this young boy Mephibosheth. Because if Mephibosheth goes to David and reminds him, then it is by his own strength that he has received that mercy. It is by his own strength, his own knowledge, that he has received that grace. But it is only by the grace of God that anybody can receive that favor. So imagine, ask yourself, why does it have to take them 15 years to all of a sudden remember Jonathan? What was he doing? You that night, the night before he asked this question, what happened? Was he reading a book about Jonathan? Did somebody mention Jonathan in a dream to him? So what happened? And then he asked the question,
is there anyone still left of the house of Saul to whom I can show kindness for Jonathan's sake? Now there was a servant of Saul's household named Ziba. They summoned him to appear before David, and the king said to him, are you Ziba? At your service, he replied. The king asked, is there no one still alive from the house of Saul to whom I can show God's kindness? Ziba answered the king, there is still a son of Jonathan. He is lame in both feet.
This is where I don't get it. Is there anybody in Jonathan's house I can show him mercy? There's a son. Simple. Whether he's crippled, he's blind, had one arm, is it your place to tell the king? But see how people try to still disqualify you. Label you, that boy, the one, he's that fake pastor, the one who wears the ring. This ring that I'm wearing here, it is 10 cedis in Ghana. If you bring it to Australian dollars, it's $2. About $2 or $2.50 maximum. But people will tell you when you wear a ring, you have powers in them. And it is these powers that these pastors operate in. I bought this for $2.50. Which doctor has power in $2.50 ring? I never used to wear them. I only began to wear them because people start talking that you are fake when you wear them. So I'm like, okay, I'll just wear it so you label me fake. I just want to give you some. Since you're already talking, let me give you something to talk about. This thing is $2.50. I don't even know the guy who sold it to me. I was in the market, I saw it in the market, I bought it. But people will begin to label you with things. You are before the king. And the king is asking you, is there anybody in Jonathan's house I can show mercy? Oh yes, there's a son. Him knowing the relationship between David and Jonathan, and Jonathan's son, the benefits that are available to him, he has to disqualify the boy from coming to the presence. Because he knew, go to Leviticus. Leviticus 21:18, quickly. Ziba knew this clause.
Leviticus
21, just 18.
Yep. No man who has any defects may come near. No man who is blind or lame, disfigured or deformed. No man. That was just it.
Yes. See, he knew that David feared the Lord. He knew David's relationship with God. So now he's thinking, how can I disqualify this boy from coming into the palace? Reminding Jonathan that the boy is lame. They took the law seriously. It is not these days where we joke with the word of God. So he said, if I put this clause in, then David will know that Mephibosheth cannot come to the palace. Because he is lame. So he says, yes, there is a son, but he is lame. Now go back to your 2 Samuel 9 and continue for me.
So King David had him brought from Lo-Debar, from the house of Maki, son of Amiel. When Mephibosheth, son of Jonathan, the son of Saul, came to David, he bowed down to pay him honor. David said, Mephibosheth, At your service, he replied. Don't be afraid, David said to him, for I will surely show you kindness for the sake of your father Jonathan. I will restore to you all the land that belonged to your grandfather Saul, and you will always eat at my table.
Pause. Let's look at the event. When Mephibosheth saw David, he bowed down. When you see the King of Kings for who he is, and you know that there is nothing you can do except to bow down and worship. All of us before God are lame. Filthy. So when he saw David, he knew that as he got to the palace, he knew that he was not meant to be there. So the first thing he did is bow down and plead for mercy. And then David makes a statement that because of your father Jonathan, I will certainly show you mercy. When we appear before the throne of God, it is not going to say because of your works. Because of his son Jesus Christ, he will definitely show us mercy. It is not because of what we have done. Left to us alone, we are lame, unable to walk, unable to save ourselves. But because of what Jesus Christ did on the cross, the Father can look to us and say, come to me. Because of what Jesus Christ did. So David here is saying, because of your father Jonathan, I will certainly show you mercy. And you will eat at my table. I have changed your position. You are now sons, joint heirs with the Father because of Christ. If by our own effort, we will not be able to do anything. So now this young boy who fell down at a distance which I don't know how that can make you lame, carries this scar for 15, 18 years, and God remembers him. He is remembered not because he went around complaining to everybody, see what has happened to me, I was abused as a child, see what has... No. He was in his own corner somewhere. And the grace of God found him. Sometimes let us stop complaining too much about our scars. Rather see it at God using those scars to reach us. Last time, as I was saying, everybody who is an activist of something, they have either gone through it and have got to the point where they have been empowered by it. Therefore, they want to make sure that others don't go through it. All these people doing rape activists, they have either been raped, they know somebody who was raped, they are close to someone, they have been affected by it one way or the other. Therefore, they are making sure that nobody else goes through it. Those activists for female genital circumcision, it is either they have been gone through it, they know somebody who has gone through it, or they have been affected by it. But what did they do? They did not let that stop them, but rather they embraced it. Africans, unfortunately, we have the habit of complaining too much yet to do nothing about the problem. We will tell you everything about what the problem is, but do nothing to change the problem. The person you are talking to about your problem, they also have a problem of their own. So they are really not bothered by your problem. If only you will cry out to God. If my people who are called by my name will humble themselves. Prayer is an outcry of somebody who is humble. Because if I am proud that this thing I can fix it by myself, I won't go to God about it. If I feel that this thing I can handle it. You imagine how children behave. They will try and fix the problem. When they get to the point where they know that they have messed it up, they can't do anything about it, that's when they come to the family. Daddy, can you have a look at this thing for me? At that point, that child has done everything he could. So it takes humility for you to be able to go to the Father and say, Lord, I cannot do this. I leave it to you. Amen? Continue. You will finish it off at 8 and we'll jump.
Mephibosheth bowed down and said, What is your servant that you should notice a dead dog like me?
Continue.
Then the king summoned Ziba, Saul's steward, and said to him, I have given your master's grandson everything that belonged to Saul and his family. You and your sons and your servants are to farm the land for him and bring in the crops, so that your master's grandson may be provided for. And Mephibosheth, grandson of your master, will always eat at my table. Now Ziba had 15 sons and 20 servants. Then Ziba said to the king,
see the servant's children. The one who is the slave. 15 children.
15 sons and 20 servants.
Thank you. The servant has servants. The servant has servants. They are living off your glory. They have been living off your glory.
Mercy.
See, if we want to take this thing and go into it is funny.
Mercy.
David knew that Saul was after his life. Saul wanted to kill him. But look at his statement. I have given to Mephibosheth everything that belongs to Saul because of Jonathan. Because of Jesus Christ. Everything that we have lost because of our family ties, because of him, God will restore it to us.
Amen.
He says, because of Jonathan, everything that belongs to Saul that I know he wanted to kill me, give it to him. Because of Jonathan, let us cherish and value the relationships that we built. If Jonathan had become envious of David, now that he's dead, this is when David would have extended his power to his children. As a matter of fact, this boy had no power, he was lame. David would have just sniffed him all like this. But in his weakest moment, David showed the greatest weapon, which was love. Out of the love. And now Ziba is being now ordered to serve the lame boy. He says from now on, the one who does not deserve to even come to the palace because he's lame will now eat at my table forever. Now let us look at the beauty of this. When you embrace your scars and understand, when he's sitting at the table, would anybody see his feet? When you come to the table and he's seated and he's dining at the table, would you see his feet? All you see is his top. You will never know that he's lame. When we come to God and accept him for who he is, and appreciate that he lets us go through those scars so that he will glorify us, he hides our lameness. It is only when the boy begins to walk and then people say that, this boy is lame. But he's dining at the high table with the prince, with the kings. Mephibosheth was remembered and was brought to the palace. Now you think that, this is happy ending. But the devil is always swift. He always has to bring something. Just when you said, Lord, I give my life to you, he says, okay, really. He comes back to you double. Brings that desire to you again, double. Let's jump quickly to 21, 2 Samuel 21. Let's see what happens there.
Verse 1?
Take it from verse 1.
Verse 1. During the reign of David, there was a famine for 3 successive years. So David sought the face of the Lord.
Second Samuel, not First Samuel.
Second Samuel.
Yeah.
21. Yep. The Lord said, it is on account of Saul and his blood-stained house. It is because he put the Gibeonites to death. The king summoned the Gibeonites and spoke to them. Now the Gibeonites were not a part of Israel, but were survivors of the Amorites. The Israelites had sworn to spare them, but Saul, in his zeal for Israel and Judah, had tried to annihilate them. David asked the Gibeonites, what shall I do for you? How shall I make atonement for that you bless?
Actually, pause. Before we get to that, go back to 19. We will see an incident that happens. Absalom tries to overthrow David as the king. And David runs away from the land and goes into hiding. Once he goes into hiding, Mephibosheth decides that the king has been dethroned, so he's not going to eat, he's not going to clean himself, he leaves his face bushy. And when he hears that the king is coming, he tells Ziba, saddle up the horse, let us take foodstuff to meet the king. And this boy being lame, he cannot do anything. And Ziba tells him, don't worry, wait here. I'll go and meet the king on your behalf. When he gets to David, he lies to David and tells him, Ziba has joined with your son Absalom. Now he's in the palace. He wants to overthrow you. Because his father is a king, he wants to take the kingship. Ziba wants to now turn Mephibosheth, the lame boy, against David. Read, you take it from verse 22.
2 Samuel 19, verse 22. David.
Continue.
David replied, what does this have to do with you, you sons of Zeruiah? What right do you have to interfere? Should anyone be put to death in Israel today? Don't I know that today I am king over Israel? So the king said to Shimei, you shall not die. And the king promised him an oath. Mephibosheth, Saul's grandson, also went down to meet the king. He had not taken care of his feet, or trimmed his mustache, or washed his clothes from the day the king left until the day he returned safely. When he came from Jerusalem to meet the king asked him, why didn't you go with me, Mephibosheth? He said, my lord the king, since I your servant am lame, I said, I will have my donkey saddled and will ride on it so I can go with the king. But Ziba, my servant, betrayed me, and he has slandered your servant to my lord the king. My lord the king is like an angel of God, so do whatever you wish. All my grandfather's descendants deserve nothing but death from the Lord the king. But you gave your servants a place among those who eat at your table. So what right do I have to make any more appeals to the king? 29. The king said to him, why say more? I ordered you and Ziba to divide the land. Mephibosheth said to the king, let him take everything now that my lord the king has returned home safely.
Pause. So now, when Ziba first meets David, if you read from the beginning of 19, and he tells David, Mephibosheth has sided with Absalom. He says, I order everything that I gave to Mephibosheth, I give everything to you. Now he comes into town, and Mephibosheth meets him. Looking at Mephibosheth's appearance and what the boy was saying, David knew that Ziba had lied to him. But he had already given the orders to give everything to Ziba. So now he says, divide everything between you and Ziba. And Ziba says, my lord, let him have everything. This is where you know one whose heart is after God, or one whose heart is after things. Ziba didn't care about David. All he wanted was material things. So the moment the king says divide the things, he is happy. But Mephibosheth knew that in his conditions, things don't matter. He can't farm. He cannot chase sheep. So if you give him 1,000 sheep, what is he going to do? What he cared about was his own safety in the presence, in the palace. So he would rather give up everything and be safe in the palace. Because if people found out that he is the son of Saul, they will come after his life. He cannot defend himself. What would he rather do? He would rather be safe with nothing or have everything and not be safe. So he said, my Lord, let him have all. What is our attitude when it comes to the things of God? It's our prayer, Lord, give me, give me, give me. We pray 1 hour. It is, Lord, anybody chasing me. Everything is about me, us, me, us, me, us. When was the last time we even took a minute and said, Lord, even those that don't know you, Father, let them know you. let alone to pray for your pastor, to pray for the church, and even the community. It is me. But Mephibosheth, the one who was lame, he knew what was at stake. So he said, let him have everything. And David took notice of it. So when we now jump to verse 21, now go to chapter 21. Let's see what happens in chapter 21. This is where the story is interesting, yes.
During the reign of David, there was a famine for 3 successive years. So David sought the face of the Lord. The Lord said, it is on account of Saul and his blood-stained house. It is because he put the Gibeonites to death. The king summoned the Gibeonites and spoke to them. Now the Gibeonites were not part of the Israel, but were survivors of the Amorites. The Israelites had sworn to spare them, but Saul in his zeal for Israel and Judah had tried to annihilate them. David asked the Gibeonites, what shall I do for you? How shall I make atonement for that you will bless the Lord's inheritance? The Gibeonites answered him, we have no right to demand silver or gold from Saul or his family, nor do we have the right to put anyone in Israel to death. What do you want me to do for you? David asked. They answered the king, as for the man who destroyed us and plotted against us, so that we have been decimated and have no place anywhere in Israel, let 7 of his male descendants be given to us to be killed, and their bodies exposed before the Lord at Gibeah of Saul, the Lord's chosen one. So the king said, I will give them to you. Verse 7. The king spared Mephibosheth, son of Jonathan, the son of Saul, because of the oath before the Lord between David and Jonathan, son of Saul.
Pause. This is where it is interesting. I thought when we read 1 Samuel 30, it says Jonathan, Saul died and his sons were killed. Now where is it that all of a sudden they can have 7 sons and present it? So these Gibeonites were killed as a result of Saul's inactions. And now they are saying, David goes to them and says, now let us make peace. He says, okay, we'll make peace. But give us 7 of Saul's children and we'll kill them so that there will be peace. And he says, okay, I'll give them to you. Where from these 7 children? Why didn't they go looking for Mephibosheth if they knew that he was alive? If there were any children of Saul or Jonathan left, why didn't they go looking for their lame brother? Why? 7. If you could find 7, meaning there were more than 7, and women did not include, so why didn't any of them take Mephibosheth to look after him? Why? The one who is acting like they care about your situation is the very person who is laughing behind your back. No one can save you unless you run to Christ. It is only in Jesus that we find redemption. Nobody else. And when the time came for David to give up 7 people, this was the time David could have paid Mephibosheth back for betraying him according to Ziba. But he says, well, he spared him. Because if you were planning with my son to take my throne, this is the time I have to show you that I am the king. But he says, well, because of his bond with Jonathan. So still, David was not dealing with Mephibosheth according to what Mephibosheth was doing. It was because of what his father had done. God does not deal with us because of what we do. It is not because of our lips. If it is our worship that makes God God, he would have lost his Godship long time ago. That 2x4 worship we give him, 30 minutes on Sunday, sometimes 15 minutes on Sunday. Is that worship? If that is what makes God God, he would have lost his position long time ago. But he does not deal with us according to us, but because of what Christ has done. That is what we take courage in. That is what we encourage ourselves with. That it doesn't matter what scars I bear now. It doesn't matter what I am going through now. God is dealing with me not according to that, but He's dealing with me because of what His Son Christ has done. So Mephibosheth's life was spared. The 7 sons were given up and they were killed. I am going to encourage you this morning that even at the point of death, because of what Christ has done, Christ will spare you. Though they may kill the body, but the Bible says, fear not the one who kills the body but can do nothing to the soul. That challenge we are going through, yes, we may go through them now. But we are encouraged because the one who died on the cross, He is able to save us and deliver us. So those young 3 Hebrew boys said, we will not bow because we know He will deliver us. Even if He doesn't, we still won't bow. That is the position we are supposed to get to. That we are not moved by what people say about us. We are not moved by the labels people give us. Rather, our concentration and our focus is Christ. That we are willing to give up everything for Him. Mephibosheth, who was lame, was prepared to give everything to Ziba so that he would still have that relationship with David. Are we after relationship or material things? This morning I just want to remind us that let us bear that mark and carry it. That God who is sovereign, if this young boy Mephibosheth had not become lame, he would have been part of these 7 people who were offered and be killed. If Jonathan did not have a relationship with David, and David did not know Mephibosheth, David himself would have killed them before he got to him presenting the 7. And Mephibosheth, who was the son of Saul, Jonathan, would have been one of the 7 people who were offered to be killed. But because he was lame, he had nothing to do. He could not defend himself. That miserable and weakness that he had, that was a question mark on his life, was that very thing that God used to spare him. Because he was lame, he was living in his own corner for 15 years. That same problem is what God will use to lift him up. That same that same bat that people are having over your life will be the same thing God will use to turn your life around. They kicked Jephthah out of the house because they said he was a son of a prostitute. The elders were in the land when they kicked him out. They said nothing. But when the fight came, all of a sudden they knew where Jephthah lived. So ask yourself, where were they when he was kicked out? Why didn't they say anything? But when war broke, and they were all going to lose their land and their property, all of a sudden they know that this is where Jephthah lives, let's go to him. They see the good in you. But because they cannot commit to the life you are committed to, they will point to your mistakes and your scars to slow you down. Living a Christian life is not easy. It is not cheap. People cannot commit to it. Therefore, I have to make you feel bad so that we will all be the same. So Romans 12 will tell us what? We do not live according to the patterns of this world. If we are going to live according to this world and pay back evil for evil, we are going to miss the mark. But Mephibosheth fell down from a height that does not make one cripple. But because God in His sovereignty knew what was going to happen, formed a bond between Jonathan and David. So that when the time came that they had to show mercy, because of Jonathan, David showed mercy. This morning, I want us to be on our feet. But we are undeserving. We were undeserving.